Is God of War Ragnarok as incredible as the 2018 God of War game? Because that game took the franchise to new heights. Get it? Because like in that game, the story is all about taking the mother's ashes to the highest point in all the realms. Okay, please don't click away from this video because of that bad pun. I promise I won't make another joke like that. And that's exactly it. There is nothing to joke about this game. This is a masterpiece. They have taken what was so good about the last game and built upon it to such incredible ways. And Sony Santa Monica have made another masterpiece. And so this is my review where I'm basically going to be singing this game's praises for non-stop. And I'm going to also end the review also on some nitpicks because it's not perfect, but it doesn't take away from the ultimate experience. But this is my review. Let's get into it.
Do what is necessary. Not because it is written. We will make our own destiny.
What's up guys, welcome to That Freaking Geek, and this review is made possible thanks to Gamefinity. Thanks to them, they sent me a review code, and because I bought the game already physically, it meant that I got to do the code as a giveaway. And that's right, I do giveaways sometimes, but I do it over on my Instagram, so why don't you give me a follow? It'd be really cool to have you there. Go check it out. I'm sorry if you missed out on this one, but maybe you can be involved in the next one. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's get into the God of War Ragnarok review. Let's see whether or not you should buy it. Spoiler alert. You probably should. And like always, I'm going to split up my review into 3 different parts, starting off with the story, then the gameplay, and then the world itself. And so let's get into it, starting with the story, and of course, and I promise, no spoilers. Ragnarok is finally here, and what I mean by that is that the game is finally here, because when the story starts off, Ragnarok hasn't come yet. But however, there is significant signs that it's just around the corner. That being Fimbulwinter. Fimbulwinter, in Midgard anyway, is all snowy, but it all does various different kind of, indicators in the different realms. And what Ragnarok is basically, is that it's this big build up to this huge battle that's meant to take place. So big that it's almost like compared to like Endgame, Avengers Endgame kind of level of hugeness, where the world comes to an end. In the last game, you killed Balder, and his mom was not too happy about that. And his mom is no Karen. No, instead, this is Freya we're talking about. And Freya was the ex-queen of the Valkyries, a group of exceptionally powerful warriors. And on top of all that, she's also the queen of the frickin' Norse gods. To say that she is a problem would be an understatement. And she's not the only family member that's mad at you. Nope. The brother of Balder is also mad at you, and he happens to be Thor, the god of thunder, and not this Thor, nope, this Thor. He's way more badass, and he could just sit on you and it'll be devastating. And then, of course, you get his father, which is the all-knowing, all-powerful father himself, Odin. Throw in some lethal prophecies, and you've got one hell of a plot here. And it is an emotional rollercoaster of a ride with these 25 hours that it has to offer for its main story. And the writing is probably what is the best thing about this game. It is incredible, and you got a taste of it in the trailers, but wait until you see how much more it has to offer. The writers did such a phenomenal job with the writing that they made you really care for the characters, not just Kratos and Atreus either, who have incredible character arcs, but you also really start to care for Sindri and Brock, who have their own really great moments. And then of course you get the talking head Mimir, who's always a laugh, and he has some great moments too. And they're throwing in some other characters and some other new characters within the mix. I also found myself tearing up in some moments in the game. And that's because of one, the incredible emotional kind of roller coaster, like I said, that you go on. But the other side of it is that it has legit funny moments. And these funny moments don't take away from the magnitude of what's happening in this game. No, instead, it balances the atmosphere so nicely. So much so, I would say it's some of the best comedy writing that I've seen in entertainment all year. Now, because of this outstanding balance, the dialogue and the cutscenes never feel boring, never feel dull. It's always a treat to experience it. And talking about a treat, you know what else is a treat? This gameplay. God of War Ragnarok is my favorite game that I've ever played, and played is the key word there. It's not that it's the best game I've ever experienced. Instead, I honestly think that the game is so extraordinary, and that is because I never got bored and never got dull over the total 45 hours that I've played this game. And that's even taking into account that I've played the 2018 game at least 3 times. The icy axe that you wield is an outstanding weapon that you get to play with. And if Thor's hammer, what's the name of the hammer again?
Mjolnir?
Jonathan?
No, it's Mjolnir. If Mjolnir is yin, then the Leviathan axe is yang. This axe is incredible to throw around the game in devastating ways that you're really gonna enjoy playing. Then you get the Blades of Chaos, which is a whirlwind of extreme heat that cut up your enemies like vegetables. Just like the axe, there's a variety of ways to throw them around, to slice up your enemies, to chain up attacks. It is incredible. These weapons are truly sensational to use. The contrast between the fire and the ice is so cool, it's so fun to watch, and you really, like, these words don't do it justice. You have to play it for yourself to truly experience what they're all about. But what makes the gameplay, the combat, so extraordinary is the fact that there's so much intention when you're fighting. Like, it's not brainless. You have to attack at the right time, you gotta dodge, you gotta parry at the right time. There's intention around the way that you attack enemies in this game, because even though you're super powerful, any enemy could take you down if you're not thinking about the way that you're attacking. This means that when you're in a battle, you're sucked way more into the moment. You're using strategy to make sure that you can fight off this enemy. You're thinking about how does this enemy fight? What does your surroundings look like? You use all this knowledge to strategically fight your enemies. Talking about surroundings, the game is doing a lot more of a better job at allowing for more versatile fighting, which means that there's more vertical stuff happening around as you're jumping around, which makes the combat even more engaging. Using Atreus is also a lot more fun. He is grown up now, and that means that his fighting is a lot more aggressive and he has way more abilities. But what makes it so good is the fact that when you are fighting a character, there are times when Atreus will kind of come in, and this feeling, this flow of you both attacking the character at the same time is so delightful. What's also so delightful about the combat is the finishes that you can do on enemies. These finishes, I mean, this is basically the potatoes and milk of this video game franchise, is these incredible finishes. But in the last game, a lot of criticism came to the fact that they didn't have a lot of enemy varieties. And in this game, not only did they listen, that they delivered and then some. There are so many more enemies within this game, and it is phenomenal watching them get ripped to shreds. The enemies all suit their different environments, and so that brings me to my next point. How is the game world itself? Norse mythology is one of my favorites, and it's such a joy to see how they've recreated these worlds with such care. But just like the story, they bring a little bit of a twist to how not only the story is, but also how the worlds are portrayed. The art design in each of the realms is breathtaking. And because I thought, Ragnarok is all about this long winter, I thought that, nothing but snow levels from then on. But each of the realms deal with Fimbulwinter in their own unique ways, and I'll let you discover on your own about what that means for each of the realms. Every realm feels handcrafted, and it probably does because, just like the rest of the game, everything that is in this game is intentionally placed. And that means that there's a lot of incredibly intricate level designs and some puzzles that are perfect for the places that they're in. There are also plenty of quality side quests within the realms, all of which offering their own different kinds of rewards, whether it's more loot, an excellent story, or maybe it's a new location that you get to discover. And some of them even combined all 3 of them, which means that going through side quests is an absolute joy. Kind of going off the path of the main story and going into those side stories is such a joy. It's such a treat to be able to do that. However, there is something that I want to talk about when it comes to the visuals of the game. However, I'm going to put it part of this next section, which is the nitpicking section. Now look, these are nitpicks. These are things that I wish that weren't in the game, but unfortunately are. And they don't by all means take away from anything about how incredible Ragnarok is. But let's get into it. Starting off with the fact that even though this game looks really, really gorgeous, it doesn't necessarily feel like a next generation game. And I played this on my PS5, and yet I felt, no, there's something off about this. And they're actually quite upfront about that. they said that they actually start off going, hey, let's make the best damn PS4 game and give some, PS5, advantages if you're playing on a PS5. The usual stuff, more detail, more frame rates, more resolution, DualSense advantages, 3D audio, all that fun stuff that you get with the PS5. However, that still doesn't take away from the fact about how incredible, how much of a spectacle the game could have been if it was only on PS5. However, I do think this is a good trade-off because it means that a lot of PS4 players can enjoy it, and I still think they managed to pull off an incredible game on this foundation. Next, like I said, there are puzzles within the game. But what has become frustrating in this game, for some reason, the characters, your companions that are with you, tend to give you the answers to these puzzles sometimes, which becomes incredibly frustrating and just ends up being these obstacles in the way getting to the fighting sections. And I really love puzzles, and so I'm really disappointed that this was the case. I know why they did this. It's because sometimes people get to a puzzle, they get stuck, and they put down the game and they don't go back. And with these huge games, these big money-making games, these developers do not want that. And so I get that. But you can put a toggle in. Some games have that. I don't know why Ragnarok doesn't. It's kind of weird. And lastly, this is a small one. I think there's a lot of plot conveniences, and I think a lot of games and movies kind of fall into this. And that's the fact that in this game, there's a lot of moments where conveniently things will be given to you right before you need them, or things will appear that you need right before you need them. Like, there's just a lot of those kind of happening. And this game has incredible writing, don't get me wrong, but I wish they kind of worked a little bit harder to make it not look like it's so easy for the characters, because that would have allowed more authenticity to the series of events that happened within the game. So in conclusion, and seriously, I know I kind of ended there with nitpicking, but like, this game really is incredible, and I think that even with all this kind of stuff, that's just a testament to how incredible the rest of the game is, how much of a masterpiece it is. This game is exactly the sequel I wanted. It met the hype and then some. This game has everything that I would want: an incredible story, fantastic gameplay, and a beautiful open world. And all of it is done so expertly well, and that is why I'm going to give it a full 10 out of 10. And so, go buy the game, and I recommend you go buy it from Kudu. They're a fantastic place to get all your favorite gaming goodies from, including God of War Ragnarok. Please go buy it from them. You can check the link in my description. Why don't you go and give them a look? But that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, maybe you subscribe. Maybe you liked the video. It would be great to have you part of this community. Thanks so much. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Well done.